Can you see my screen now? Guys, do you see my screen now?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so as informed in Google Classroom, the first part of today's lecture will be instructions and also as revision for the midterm exam. Okay, so I'm gonna talk for a couple of minutes about the midterm exam, and if you have any question, please let me know by commenting. Okay,
hết cơm à?
so could
Không
you
ăn cơm nữa à?
turn off all the microphone?
Rồi, cái này thì như xui không phải rồi.
Guys, could you please
Cái
turn
này
off
thì
your
như xui.
microphone? I can see a lot of noises here.
Ai bảo Ken không ăn hết cơm?
Okay, so these are some instructions and revision for our midterm exam. First, the content and format of the
Ngày nay bắt
midterm
mẹ
exam.
mày đi. Chứ mày không cho ăn Ken hết cơm à?
Oops. Okay.
Mày!
Sorry everyone.
Nãy còn đút được mà giờ lại bảo không ăn.
Đỗ Thị Ninh, could you please turn off? No, could you please turn off your microphone?
Ông Trần chết một thấy một thối thì ông làm sao? Ông Trần chết.
Okay, so
Trần chết đái dầm thì làm sao?
oh my goodness.
Cô ơi, cô vào tắt cũng được ạ.
Cô không tắt được, cô không biết làm sao cô không tắt được luôn á.
Cô vào danh sách các thành viên tham gia đi ạ. Cô tắt mic của bạn đi là được.
Nhưng mà máy cô đang bị đơ nên cô không tắt được luôn. One minute.
Ông Trần chết. Ông đái dầm thì làm sao? Ông ấy đái dầm thì làm sao?
Oops.
Ông ấy đái dầm thì làm sao?
Okay, guys. Okay, guys, hopefully now it's okay. So again, let's come back to instructions and revision about our midterm test, which will happen next week. So next week we'll have a midterm test exactly at the time of the lecture, 12:20 p.m. Next Monday. So the content and the format of the exam will be as followed. You will be asked to write 2 letters, one letter containing a positive message and another letter containing a negative message. All right. So in these 2 letters, you will be asked to write the full block layout. Okay, later I will help you with revising what is a full block layout is, and you will be asked to write either open style punctuation or mixed style punctuation. Okay, and for example, you may be asked to write a letter using full block layout with open style punctuation, and the length for writing these 2 letters is 45 minutes, and it will be an open textbook exam. Okay, so any questions so far about the format and content of the exam? Okay, so the requirements of the exam will be like this. Please make sure that you fill in all your personal information in the test form, including your full name, your student ID, your class, and your email. Okay, and then we want to make sure that you are responsible for your own work, which means that you need to make sure that you will be in a place where you can access the internet as stable as possible, and make sure that you know what the test requires, because it may be quite difficult for us to answer your questions during the test time. All right. And in case you think you have really big problems that you will not be able to handle for the test, you need to email us before Wednesday, March 25th, like 2 days from now. All right. So again, in case you think you have really big problems that you will not to be able to be handled, that during the test, you need to email us before Wednesday this week. Otherwise, during the test time, any technical or personal problems is all your responsibility. We will not consider any exception after the test. So for example, during the test, you have some technical problems, and then you write an email asking us for a chance to do the test again. So we need to say that we are really sorry, but we cannot accept your exception. Okay. So is everything here clear to you? Okay. If you have any questions, please comment so I can have a look. I'm trying to access the meeting from another device, and I will try to answer all your questions now. Okay, if you have any question regarding the midterm test next week, please comment. Okay, so is it all clear? If you think that it is all clear, please comment so I know it.
Teacher, I have a question. Like, I want to know, like, where does the test take place? Like, on Google Classroom or offline or on another platform?
Yeah, okay, thank you for your question. What's your name?
My name is Hian.
Okay, thank you, Hian, for your question. So we are still discussing about the form that the exam will take, but it will be something very similar to Google Form. Okay, so you will have a website to sign in and add your answers to the questions and then submit it. And we will send the link and open the exam page right at the time of the beginning of the exam, and then close the link for submitting after 45 minutes. Any late submission will not be accepted. Okay, we will try to inform you as soon as possible about the exact address or form that the exam will take, because now we are still in the process of discussion about it. Is it okay? Yeah, okay, thank you, Hian. Hami asked that during the exam, do we have to open microphone and the screen? We will let you know all the specific rules and procedure of the exam as soon as possible. So really early this week, so you have the best preparation for it. Okay, any more questions about the midterm exam? So again, the exam will account for 15% of your time, and it is a chance for you to apply what you learned in writing letters. And the two letters, one will be about a positive message and another one will be about a negative message. So during this week in your tutorial classes, you will have the chance to practice writing the letters with your teachers. And please, if you have anything that you don't understand or it is not clear, you can ask me right now in this lecture or in your tutorial classes. Okay, in the lecture, in the video lectures, we're also trying to deliver the most important points about writing these letters, and also provide you with some practice, with some exercise, so you can apply it right away. Okay. Okay, so I will read some more questions. So Ngân Hà asked, do you think that the mass access to the link of the form can lead to errors or disconnection? We will try to make it as let's say feasible as possible and as good as possible. We will try and test different types of forms to make sure that we choose the best one. My connection was bad. Will it take place on lecture tutorial time? Midterm test will take place in lecture time. Okay, this time next week. Huyền asked a really good question. If we submit sooner than 45 minutes, can we edit the answer during that remaining time? We will check with the exam form that we choose, that if student already submitted the test, can they edit them? All right, and we'll let you know the answer afterwards. Yeah, so the exam will start right from 12:20 next Monday. Yeah. Okay.
And there will be no tutorial on the midterm exam week, right?
As normal, there will be no tutorial in the following week, not next week. You understand me? So tutorials run 1 week after lecture. So next week after the test, you still have tutorial classes as normal. But then the week after next week, you will have no tutorial classes. Is it clear enough? Because normally we do the same thing. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, so if there is no more question, let's move on. So to do the midterm test as good as you should be, so you need to know what to write and how to write it. Okay, so today I'm going to do a short revision for the midterm exam to make sure that you are all on the same page. So the first part of the revision will be how to write a letter, including the essential parts of a letter, the layout of a letter, and the punctuation style. Okay, and then we will discuss more about what to write in a letter, how to write the positive message and the negative message. All right. So first one, essential parts of a letter. So as you can see on the screen, there will be 7 essential parts that you should definitely have in your letter and in your midterm test. Okay, these essential parts include your name and address, or the writer's name and address. Okay, date, in-signed address, greeting or salutation, body of the letter, complimentary clause, and writer's signature and job title. Okay, so anyone can tell me what in-signed address mean? What does in-signed address mean?
The receiver's address.
Yeah, thank you. So that is the receiver address. Okay, so as you can see on the screen now, on your right hand, this is the example for a letter. Okay, all right, thank you, Zhang. Okay, so on your right hand is an example of a letter. First, you have the writer's name and address. You can see here that the writer name should be full name, okay, and the address should be real address. So the address should be the number, and then the street, and then the city, and maybe the postcode as well. All right, and then the date, and then the in-signed address, the receiver's address, also real address. Okay, the receiver's name and address. Then the greeting or salutation. So if you know exactly who is the receiver, you will write the exact name of the receiver. But remember here, in formal writing, when you write the receiver's name, you will only write his First name or last name? Yeah, last name, right? So, dear Mr. Jones. So, in case you don't know the exact name of the receiver, what should you write? In case you don't know the exact name, you don't know the full name. Okay, so you will write dear sir slash madam. Okay, yeah, all right. Or you write the name of the department. Dear purchasing department, dear human resource department. Okay, so there will be two cases. Either you write dear sir or madam, or you write the name of the department that you are trying to send the letter to. Okay, is it clear enough? All right, but actually the advice here is that if you can somehow figure out the name of the exact receiver, then it should be better, because it is more let's say it is more specific for the receiver and easier for them to know that the letter is aimed at him or herself. Okay, and you will get a better chance of getting their reply. Okay, yeah, we can also use to whom it might concern. All right, it is another option to say so. Okay, so after that we come to the body of the letter. Okay, you write what you want to write in the body using either the direct approach or the indirect approach. Okay, later we will talk about direct and indirect approach. Then the complementary clause. So in this case, what is the complementary clause? In this situation, what is the complementary clause? Okay, in this letter, what is the complementary clause? Is it I look forward? Yeah, it is best regards. Is there any other way to write the complementary clause formally other than best regards? Okay, sincerely yours. Okay, and especially when you write dear sir or madam. Okay, if you write dear sir or madam in the greeting or salutation, in the complimentary clause, it is frequent that you will write yours sincerely or sincerely yours. Okay, so it is a typical way to write the greeting and then the complimentary clause equivalent to each other. All right, so and then you write the your signature and job title. Okay, so these are the essential parts of a letter, and make sure that you have all these 7 essential parts in your midterm test in each of the letter that you write. Is it clear? Any question about the essential parts? Okay, all right, thank you guys. Now let's come to the layout and punctuation style. Okay, so in the textbook you will be introduced 2 types of layout: the block layout, the block format layout, and the modified block format layout. Okay, so on your right hand now you are seeing you are looking at one example of the block format. Okay, the block format says that all the 7 essential parts of the letter are against the left margin. Okay, all the 7 essential parts are against the left margin. Let's compare it with this one. Okay, this is the modified block format. So in this modified block format, which parts are shifted towards the center of the page? Okay, in this modified block format, which essential parts are shifted towards the center of the page? Can you tell me? Okay, the first part is the date. Then what else? The complementary clause and the signature. So you can see the differences between the two block format. Okay, so the block format, again, everything against the left margin in one line. See it? Okay, but in the modified block format, you shift the date, the complementary clause, and the signature. All right, sender's signature and job title towards the center of the page. All right. However, to make things easier for you during the midterm test, because we are afraid that the exam page, the exam format will not allow you to shift things towards the center of the page. So we will just ask you to write the block format. Is it clear? So in both letters that you are going to write, you will use the block format. Very easy, everything against the left margin. Is it clear? All right. Okay, thank you guys. All right. But in terms of the punctuation style, you will be asked to write both of them. Okay. So first, we have mixed style punctuation and open style punctuation. Okay. So having a look at these two letters, you can see that in mixed style punctuation, after the salutation or greeting, dear Mr. Jones, comma, all right, and after best regards, we have comma. See it? But in the open style punctuation, you can see that dear Mr. Jones, and then no comma, and then after best regards, again, no comma. Okay, so open style punctuation, we have no comma after greeting and after complimentary clause. But mixed style punctuation, we have commas after greeting and after complimentary clause. Is it clear enough? Okay, so in some other situations, in the mixed style punctuation, you will see not only comma, but another type of punctuation as well. Okay. Okay, which is a colon. In more informal letter, you can use the colon as well, but in your midterm test, it is advised that you use comma. Okay, and this is also more popular practice in the business world. Okay, so again, in your midterm exam, you will write the block format layout with either mixed style punctuation or open style punctuation. If you want more reference, you can have a look at your textbook. Okay, from page 626 to page 634. Okay, so that is, yeah, it's okay to use colon after the salutation as well, but it is less popular than using the comma. Okay, is it okay, Phương Linh? All right, so we just have a short revision about how we should write the letters. We need to have 7 essential parts, and we need to put it in a block format and in one punctuation style, either open or mixed punctuation style. Okay, any more questions about how we should write the letters before we move on to what to write in the letters? All right, okay, so you will write either positive message or negative message. Okay, and for the positive message, it is advised that you will write it using the direct approach. So direct approach is easy. You will start with the main idea. Then you provide necessary details and explanation. Then you end with a courteous close. Okay. So we already had one example during the video lecture, and you also had another exercise to practice how to write the positive message. So is there any question about writing the positive message? Is it clear enough? Okay. Okay, so let's take one more example, okay, to make sure that we are all on the same page. So again, for example, if you are writing a letter informing a job candidate that he or she has been offered a job, okay. So in the first paragraph, you start with the main idea, which is like congratulations or welcome on board. Okay, you have been offered a job as a marketing executive at ABC company, for example. Okay, so we start with the main idea right away. Then in the second paragraph, we provide necessary details and explanation. So in the letter that telling the message of offering a job, what necessary details or explanation should we give in the second paragraph? Any idea? What else should we explain in the second paragraph? Yeah, all right. Time to start the job. Okay, so your job will start from Monday next week, right? Or next Monday. Anything else? Okay, reason to choose them. All right, okay, good. So we believe that your knowledge and skills are highly suitable for this position. Okay, first meeting. All right, anything else? The requirements, Zoom, the requirements about what? The salary, yeah, okay, salary and benefits, okay, so that they can confirm that they agree with that level of salary. All right, okay, so we can provide more details and explanation, okay, in this paragraph as the things that you just suggested us here. All right, and then we end with a courteous close. So what should we write in the last paragraph? Okay, so what should we write in the last paragraph for a letter offering a job? Hope to see them soon. What do you mean by soon? Soon seems a little bit not very specific, right? We need something more specific. We are offering them a job, right? And we are waiting for their response, either to accept the job offer or reject it. So, okay, I'm looking forward to your response. Okay, and then we need to state the deadline as well. Okay, as soon as possible or by next Wednesday or something. We state the deadline. Yeah, exactly. All right, and don't forget to say thank you. Okay, so thank you again for your interest in the position. Yeah, okay, or please confirm the job acceptance. All right, so basically this is how you write a positive message. Very straightforward. What goes straight to the point at the beginning, okay, and then provide more details, and then state a thank you and a deadline. Okay, all right. So for the negative message, in the lecture, in the video lecture, you are introduced with two ways to write the negative message, either using a direct approach or an indirect approach. Okay, you have both ways of writing the negative message. So what criteria should you base on to choose either to write the direct or indirect approach? You base on what criteria? Any idea? Yeah, we base on the receiver's attitude or emotion. All right. What else? What type of attitude or what type of emotion should lead to direct approach or indirect approach. Okay, reaction as well. Anything else? Receiver's position. Okay. Okay, so in the textbook, they already provided you with a whole diagram directing you whether to use the direct or indirect approach, right? So you can easily find the diagram in the textbook, which is on page 344. Okay, so basically, the more popular approach for negative message will be indirect approach. Okay, because using the indirect approach can help the receiver to better respond to the negative message and better prepare for the negative message that you are sending. Okay, so in the midterm exam, because we already have the positive message using the direct approach, so we will ask you to write the negative message using the indirect approach to make sure that you understand both styles of writing. Is it clear? So again, in the lecture, you will introduce to use both direct and indirect approach in depending on the situation. But in the midterm test, because to make sure that you know how to write both styles, we will ask you to use the indirect approach for the negative message. Is it clear enough? Okay, I want to make sure that you know it and you will follow this instruction during the test. Okay, guys. All right. So the indirect approach already says the way we will write it. We will not go straight to the main point. Which part among these four parts does the main point stay? Part 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which part amongst these four parts will we leave the negative message? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 3, right? So before we go to the negative message, we already have 2 parts, okay? Explaining about preparing the audience, the receiver, to be ready to get the bad news, okay? So first, we open with a buffer. A buffer here is defined as a neutral statement that establishes common ground with the reader without revealing the main idea. So a popular way to open with a buffer here is say thank you. Okay. So for example, you are informing the bad news of firing the employee. So it is a really terrible news, right? But you still start with a buffer, say thank you for your contribution to the company over the last 2 years, for example. Okay. Then in the second part, providing reasons and additional information, okay, you start to signal the negative news ahead. But you also need to make sure that your reasons are detailed, tactful, individualized, and logical. Okay, persuasive reasons. All right, that are objective and cannot refuse. Okay, then we come to the bad news. Okay, we state the bad news short, simple, and direct. And then we close on a respectful note. If you can, please suggest alternative solutions. Okay, for example, introducing them to your partner's company so that they can look for a job there. All right, so using the indirect approach, in my viewpoint, is a bit more challenging than the direct approach, because you need to be a little bit creative in thinking all the logical explanation in part 2. Okay, and also to think of a buffer in part 1. So it is a bit more challenging than the direct approach, and this means that you need to spend more time practicing writing negative message using the indirect approach. Okay, so that is a short revision about the midterm test, what you are expected to do in the test in terms of the layout, okay, the format of the letters, as well as the content of the letter. Okay, so before we move on, I want to ask you any more questions about this part. Do you have any more questions about your midterm test and how to prepare for it? Guys, yes or no? Any more questions?
Teacher,
Yes, please.
in the closing part, if we can come up with an alternative solution, so what
Yeah.
could we say?
You suggest that the person can do. You suggest what you can do for the person, but only if possible and if feasible.
Can you make examples?
Yeah. Okay. So let me give an example of rejecting a candidate for a position. Is it okay? So you can suggest an alternative solution, like for example, she's applying for the position of senior marketing executive, but when you evaluate her profile, you think that she's not qualified enough for the position. So your alternative solution here may be suggesting her to apply for a junior marketing executive position in your company only, okay, if the position is opening now. Is it clear enough? Okay, so is my example clear enough about suggesting alternative solution?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, all right. So again, you just suggest the solution if it is really something you can do for them. Okay, you don't like brag and tell lies about the solutions if you cannot do it. Okay, so let me give Hami asked about give example for part 2 and part 3. Okay, so coming back to the example of rejecting a candidate for a position. Okay, so let me write it so we all can see it clearly. Okay, so I will type the example to make sure that we all can see it. So can you see my Google Docs screen now? Okay. All right, so I'm trying to make the text bigger so we can all see it. No, cannot. All right. So for example, we are trying to reply and reject a candidate. All right. So in the first one, in the first part, the opening, we try to think of a buffer, right? Okay. So we can say like, thank you for your interest in the position of senior marketing executive at TH True Milk. Okay, then after that, in the second part, we provide reasons and additional information. Okay, so again, we want to make sure that these reasons are persuasive. Okay, so how can it be persuasive? So these reasons must be something objective, okay, and based on mutual understanding. Okay, for example, when you reject a person for a job, how can you think of objective persuasive reasons? Okay, so for example, you can write it like this. After posting the vacancy on Vietnam Works, our company has received a large number of applications. Okay, so it is something quite objective, right? Okay. You can say state something more like many candidates have strong background and intensive experience in okay, you can state like many candidates also have strong background and intensive experience in the areas of branding and marketing. Okay. However, we only can choose two most suitable candidates at the moment. Yeah, in the field or in the areas of branding and marketing. Okay, so this is actually this is not the best way to write it, but in the meantime, it is a suggestion for you to know how to provide persuasive and objective reasons. So you're not saying like because your qualification and experience is not enough, you don't blame on the candidate and you don't stress their weaknesses, but you are stating some objective information, okay, that the receiver can also understand. Is it clear? Okay. And you can also see that this paragraph also signals the bad news. Okay. Also signal that the rejection is coming in the next part. All right. And then in the third part, okay, so clear statement of the bad news. Okay. So you can say like, therefore, we are afraid that we cannot proceed your application to the next round. Okay, therefore, we are afraid that we cannot proceed your application to the next round. Okay, and then close on a respectful note. So you can say that again. Thank you for your patience. Okay, or thank you for your application. All right, application may be a better choice. Thank you for your applications. And we suggest you consider applying for other positions in our company. Okay, for example, the vacancy of junior marketing executive at this link, okay, and then you provide the link of the job description for junior marketing executive. All right, so this is a short and brief example of how to write a negative message with all the four parts: opening, reasons, bad news, and then closing. Okay, is it clearer for you now? Okay. Should each step be in form of a paragraph? So Juan asked the question like, should each step or each part here in form of a paragraph? Actually, it is not necessary. Okay, in reality, however, in the exam, to make sure that the teacher knows and clearly see that you have all the necessary parts here, it may be a good idea to break the different parts into separate paragraphs. Okay, did I answer your question clearly, Juan? All right, thank you. Any more questions about the midterm test? Okay, guys. All right. So thank you for your support. All right. So hopefully that you will do a good job next week. And if there is anything that we can support you, please let us know. Okay. Either me or your tutor will be willing to help you. All right. So Phương Thanh asked, like, do we need a subject line for the letter? It's up to you. Okay. So in letters, you can have a subject line or not, depending on your purpose. But one note, if you want to have a subject line. Okay. So now let's come back to this one. We talk about the block format, right? And we talk about everything against the left margin in the block format, which is also the format that you are going to use in the midterm test. However, if you have a subject line for the letter, okay, it will need to be placed in the middle of the page. It is not against the left margin. Okay, so the subject line will be after the greeting salutation. So for example, dear Mr. Jones, and then you come to the next line and you write the subject, and the subject line need to be placed in the middle of the page, not against the left margin. Okay, it is one exception for the block format. The only part that will be placed in the center of the page, that will be the subject line. Is it clear, Phương Thanh? So again, you can have a subject line or not depending on your purpose. But if you do have, make sure that it is in the center of the page. Okay. How many questions are there? You will be asked to write 2 letters. That's it. Okay, so this lecture is being recorded. So we will post the video later and you can rewatch it. Okay, watch it again and revise the things that you need. Okay, don't worry. All right, okay. So, all right, so let's take 2 minutes break before we come to the main part of this lecture, which is about writing persuasive letters. Okay, I will drink some water. Let's take 2 minutes break. Okay. All right, thank you guys. Okay, guys, are you ready to come back to the lecture? So, for this part, we are going to discuss the persuasive messages. Okay, ready to come back, guys? All right. Okay. So, persuasive message, definitely, it has the purpose of persuading, right? So, persuasion is defined as attempts to change an audience's attitudes, beliefs, or actions. Okay, you want to change the receiver's attitudes, beliefs, or actions. And persuasive messages, normally it will ask the audience to give something of value. For example, spend their money in exchange to buy a product or take a substantial action, a big action. For example, changing a corporate policy. Okay, so it is not an easy thing, right? Okay, to persuade someone to do something. All right, and we already talked a bit about persuading someone in previous lectures, but today we are going to discuss in more details how to write a persuasive message. Okay, and we will still follow the 3-step writing process: planning, writing, and completing. So anyone remember amongst the 3 steps here, which one is the most important one? Planning, writing, or completing? Yeah, planning, right? Okay, so planning should take up like 50% of your time. And in order to persuade people to do something, you need really careful planning, right? You need really to know what the person likes, what interests him or her, what benefits do they value. Okay, so in the step of planning the persuasive messages, first, analyzing the situation, you need to define your purpose in detail. Okay, you first need to be clear about what you really want to achieve. For example, you want to persuade the company executive to support a new research project. But this purpose is still not specific enough, very vague. So you need to make sure that you include details and make it as specific as possible. For example, you're not persuading the company to support, but you're persuading them to give you a team of 5 researchers and $1 million budget. Okay, is it more specific? Okay, so when you have the clear purpose in your mind, then you have a better chance of persuading the receiver so that they agree with you and do what you want them to do. Okay, so again, the first thing to make sure that you have is a clear purpose. Okay, then you also need to really understand your audience. You ask questions like, who is my audience? Okay, what are my audience members' needs? So for example, coming back to persuading your company executives to give you 5 researchers and $1 million budget. Okay, so maybe among the company executives here, there will be some people focusing more on finance aspects, some people focusing more on marketing, and some people more on sales, right? So the audience members' needs here may be very different. The sales and the marketing people care more about the revenue, but the financing people care more about, for example, cutting costs, right? So you need to make sure that you know the differences between the audience members' needs, all right? Then you want to be more specific about what you want them to do. You want the finance person to give you the budget, okay? But you want the R&D, the research and development person, to give you the team of researchers, okay? Then how might they resist? Okay, what kind of challenges do they see that will make them not agreeing with you? Okay, then are there any alternatives positions I need to examine? Okay, what does the decision maker consider to be the most important issue? So amongst all those audience members, who is the one that can make the decision? Okay, for example, the CEO. All right, and for the CEO, what is the most important issue for him or her? Okay, you need to understand that as well. Okay, how might the organization's culture influence my strategy? So, for example, in a low context culture, maybe you come to a meeting or you write a message and then you uh, deliver the proposal, deliver the request right away. But in high context culture, maybe you need to spend time to talk with each member of the executive board before you write the message. Okay, to make sure that you build the relationship before you deliver the message. All right, and also some other points that you can base on to analyze your audience. For example, demographic factors, age, gender, occupation, income, education, etc. Psychographics, personality, attitudes, lifestyle, cultural expectations and practices. Okay, uh, and again, I want to remind you that here your aim is to change someone's attitudes, beliefs, or actions. So it is really important to understand his or her motivation. Okay. So in understanding someone's motivation, do you remember a very popular, famous theory in management that talks about people's needs? Anyone remember? So in management subject, we learned about motivation and one very famous theory about people's needs. Can anyone name the theory for me? Yes, that's it. Yeah, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Okay. So what are they in these 5 levels? Anyone? Okay, what are these 5 needs? In the lowest level, we have what? Physiological needs, right? Physical needs, for example, food, shelter, right? Water. Okay, so above it, what is safety? Yeah, safety needs. Then belonging. Okay, love, belonging, social needs. The 4th level is esteem. Okay, self-esteem. And the last one is self-actualization needs. All right, okay. And in this theory, it is stated that when a level of need is already fulfilled, you will not be able to motivate that person using that need as well. For example, if a person is already has food, had a shelter, then providing more food or providing more shelter will not be able to motivate him or her. Okay, so that is what the theory talks about. And in this, and in the textbook, we have a similar model to talk to discuss about motivation. I think on the slide it looks not really clear, so you can refer to table 12.1. Okay, in the textbook, human needs that influence motivation. Okay, this is quite similar to the hierarchy, Maslow hierarchy of needs that we just discussed. Okay, but among besides those needs, it also lists some more motivation. For example, okay, let me have a look here. One second, I'm looking for it. Okay, so here in this table, first it talks about basic physiological needs, okay, requirements, food, water, sleep, oxygen, okay, safety and security still the same, affiliation and belonging, okay, it is similar to the social and belonging needs that we just discussed, power and control, okay, is power and control a motivation for people? You think so? Do many people lack power and lack control? Yes or no? Do you like power and control? Okay, so next we also have achievement, okay? The need to feel a sense of accomplishment. I think this is also a very common motivation for people. Then the need for adventure and distraction. Do you guys have a motivation for adventure and distraction? So the need for excitement, relief from daily routine. You like it? So I think the service industry, especially travel and tourism industry, relies on this motivation a lot, right? The need of people to go for adventure, okay, to be distracted from their normal life, okay. We also have the need for knowledge, exploration, understanding, okay, the need for self-actualization and helping others, okay. So again, you can refer to table 12.1 in the textbook to have a better view of all these motivation, okay. So now I already put it here, a video that I guess most of us are very familiar with, okay. Have you watched this video before? Yeah, a lot of yes, and some people also say like, I hate this video. Okay, so should I play the video now? Okay, a lot of yes and a lot of no. Okay, all right. So if you haven't watched it, so I still put the link here for those who haven't watched it. You can watch it at home. Okay, but basically this is a very popular TV commercial right now. What does it sell? What does it introduce? Guys, yeah, it introduced about an energy drink, right? So what kind of audience does it aim to persuade here? The energy drink, what is the target customer of the energy drink? Yeah, we have a lot of different options here. Adults, gymmers, workers, labor workers, teenagers, men, okay, teenagers. All right. So do you think that it aims at basically the mass public, or does it aim at very small niche? Mass or niche? Quite mass, right? Okay. Yeah. And it is also advertised on major TV channels like VTV1, VTV3, in like a golden time of the TV commercial. It is very expensive. Okay, so before they put a commercial like this in that expensive time slot, they need to do a lot of analysis. Okay, and they need really to understand the audience profile. Okay, so imagine this one, the image, the audience profile are major adults, right? So this type of commercial works somehow similar to the commercial of Điện Máy Xanh some time ago, when they had a really catchy song and all the kids knows and love the song. So for this commercial, though the adults is the most significant target audience, but the way they develop the message, the way they develop the commercial also attracted also attracted the attention of not only adults but also children, and children will tend to repeat the message over and over again. Okay, like my kids, they also love this commercial and they keep repeating the message all over again, so the adults will also be impressed. Okay, so my message here is that in delivering a persuasive message, you really need to understand and analyze the audience carefully, not only the audience but also those people who can influence the audience as well. Okay, so after analyzing your audience, you also need to select the right media and channel. And in persuading someone, maybe you will not use only one channel, but you will use a combination of different channels. Okay, various members of your audience might prefer different media for the same message. Then you should use 2 or more media. Okay, a combination of media as well. Okay, and the next step is organizing your information. So the main thing to keep in mind here is that the persuasive message are about the receiver. Okay, about the receiver's benefits, interest, motivation, and it is not about you. It is not about your benefits. Okay, so you always put the receiver in the center of your attention and write every single word to make sure that it matches with the receiver's benefits and interests. Okay, so therefore, in this type of message, most of the persuasive message will use the indirect approach, because in the indirect approach, you will explain your reasons and build interest before asking the receiver to buy, to change something, to make a decision or take some action. Okay, and in only rare situations you will use the direct approach. Okay, for example, when you have the close relationship with the audience, the message is welcome, or when you are an expert in the field and when you say everyone will listen to you. Okay, but basically for persuasive message, the most important, the most popular approach is indirect. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so in step 2, writing persuasive message, because in persuasive message you need to persuade someone to do something, right? Therefore, you need to establish your credibility, okay, to make them trust and believe in you. Okay, so some techniques to establish your credibility, for example, use simple language. Don't use big words, okay, or technical words that make them difficult to understand. You provide objective evidence, okay, logical objective evidence for the claims and promises you make. You identify your information sources. Okay, for example, you say 50% of people said that, then you should state the source of the information as well. You need to establish common ground by emphasizing beliefs, attitudes, and experience you have, which is similar with the audience. Okay, and basically you need to persuade with logical evidence. Okay, compelling narratives rather than trying to force the audience to do something. Okay. And in the last step, completing the okay, in completing the persuasive messages, you need to make sure that you don't have any small errors, okay, that will influence the credibility. You please excuse me for 1 second so I can take this call. All right, I will come back to the meeting. Okay, hello guys, can you hear me now? All right, okay. So I already posted, I already inserted a link in the comment here, which is also the example that I want to discuss with you now. Present screen. Okay. Okay. All right. So as I can observe, most of the trailers of the films also use the same technique of persuading the audience to watch the film. Okay, so this is an example from a trailer of a film named La Casa de Papel, which is also very interesting and one of my favorite films. Have you watched this series? Anyone watched this series? Okay, so yeah, all right. So I don't know whether we can watch this video together, but let me try. Okay, in case you cannot watch it or cannot listen to the audio, please let me know. Okay. All right. So I think that most of you will not be able to listen to the audio, but you can watch this later. But basically, all trailers of the films do the same thing. The purpose of the trailer is to persuade you to watch that series or watch that movie, right? And it also uses the same technique, which is called the AIDA model. Okay, AIDA model is a popular technique to write persuasive messages and also to write sales and marketing messages. So anyone who knows what AIDA stands for? You see the word AIDA, AIDA model in the slide. Yeah. Okay. Anyone know what it stands for? Yeah. Okay. So attention, interest, desire, and action. So this is a process of 4 stages. Okay. And you want to lead the audience from attention, getting their attention, to getting their interest, and then moving it to the next level of desire, and then they taking the action. Okay, so the first phase is not awareness but attention. Is it okay? All right. So in the textbook, you will also see more specific explanation of this model: attention, interest, desire, or action. But for example, you want to sell a product. So the first step is always helping the getting the audience to pay attention. Okay, to pay attention to the product first, because nowadays in the era of information overload, it is not easy for your product or service to get the attention of people, right? Okay, so after you already catch the attention of the receiver of your audience, then you want them to be interested in knowing more about the product. Okay, when they know more about the product already, you want them to move to their desire to have the product, so that it will lead to the last phase of taking action, for example, buying the product. Okay, so this is a particular popular technique, especially for writing sale and marketing message. Okay, and also very frequently applied by copywriters and content writers. So if you know and understand this model well and can apply it in your writing, you will have a good chance of also getting a job as a content writer or copywriter. Okay, so hopefully this part of the lecture will help you how to do it. Okay, so the first step of AIDA model, getting attention. Okay, so from the beginning, I mean from the title of the message and in the opening sentence, you need to attract the receiver's attention. Okay, and only by attracting the receiver's attention, then you can lead the receiver to read or listen to the rest of the message. If they don't pay attention, they will never read or listen to the rest of the message, right? So in this one, you need to be positive and brief. Okay, stimulate receivers' curiosity. All right. So I guess in the first lecture, I already talked about 3 emotions that usually lead to human actions and human behaviors. One among them is curiosity. What about other 2? Anyone remember? In the first lecture, we talked about 3 types of emotion that can lead to a lot of human actions and behaviors. 1, curiosity. What about the other 2? Anyone remember? Or any guess? What type of our emotion leads to action? Furious, angry, empathy. Okay, good. Anything else? We have hundreds of emotions, right? What are the strongest emotions that will lead to actions? Curious, okay, we mentioned about curious already. Interested is not an emotion. It is the later phase of emotion. Love, okay, nice. Anything else? Okay, anger, yeah. So a lot of different emotions, right? But for marketing people, most of the time they base on these emotions to elicit, to raise the actions from people. Let's take an example. Girls buy cosmetics a lot, right? Spending huge money buying cosmetics. Why do they do so? Why do they buy so much cosmetics, even if they will never be able to use all of them? We have so many girls in our class, right? Anyone tell me what kind of emotion? Passion, beauty? Passion and beauty, we just like it. Okay, but I'm talking about emotions. Emotions. What kind of emotion lead you to buying the product? So a particular brand in cosmetics is named Hope. Okay, so we buy products for hope. We hope that our skin will be lighter. Okay, our beauty will be improved. Okay, so one particular emotion or state of the mind is hope. For example, cancer patients, okay, patients who suffer from cancer, they spend and their families spend tons of money buying medicine and cure and treatments that they hope will be able to help their beloved ones. See, okay, so hope is a really strong, let's call it emotion or state of the mind that leads to actions. Okay, another emotion that also lead to a lot of actions. For example, from my observation, these years life insurance is a strongly developing business. Okay, my friend who is working as a life insurance consultant made a lot of money. Okay, so what type of emotion lead people to buy life insurance? Fear. Exactly, fear. Okay, so we also buy cosmetics because we fear that our skin will get worse if we don't use it. Okay, we buy life insurance because we fear that maybe we will have some trouble with our health in the future, right? So fear, hope, and curiosity are really strong emotions that lead to, yeah, that lead to people's actions. Okay, and marketing people based on these emotions a lot to get the attention, okay, of people. All right, so now let's talk about different methods to attract attention. For example, you can use mechanical device like color, okay, catchy color, drawing, picture, okay. You put the receiver's name in the sentence so that they feel individualized and customized for only them. Okay, you ask rhetorical question. For example, do you want to look better? Okay, do you want to lose weight? Things like that. Okay, but remember, do not try to mislead the receiver or give unrealistic information, because audience now are very smart, right? They will easily figure out if you are telling lies. So later, I will upload into the Google Classroom a file that had like 200 ways to write killing headlines But here are some examples of the ways to write the headline that will attract receivers' attention. For example, the headline with the formula how to, for example, how to lose 5 kilograms in 1 week. Anyone attracted by this kind of headline? Or warning, your diet is killing you. Okay, how I have no idea how Giang ơi. I'm just giving an example. Okay, warning. Okay, it's another killing headline that attract receivers' attention. Okay, at least 7 techniques to double your productivity. Does it sound attractive? Okay. A question we talked about already, like, do you always feel bad about your body and your weight? All right. So these are some examples. Okay. More examples can be found in the file that I will upload to Google Classroom right after the class. Okay. Do you want to have it? Do you find it useful to have more ways to write the headlines like this? Okay. All right. Okay. I will upload it so you can all have a reference. Okay. So this one, aha lines, is one example that I find quite good and clear in attracting the receiver attention. Do you want to have a look? Okay, so aha lines is a company, it's like a startup company, a Vietnamese startup company that sells. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, what is sells? Okay, so the layout of the web page is quite clear and attractive to look at, right? Okay, so in the first part, attention, here they put interactive presentations for your meetings, events, and classroom. Okay, and then they go straight into the point. aha slides make it easy to add polls, live chats, fun quizzes, engaging Q&A session to your presentation, so you can be the real star on stage. So from what I see in this web page, it does not use a particular technique to attract the attention. However, it is still very appealing to the people who are interested. For example, myself. Okay, when I want to design the slides for the class and I want to have some interaction amongst the students, so I find this really attractive for myself. Is it okay? All right, so this is the part of getting the attention with a clear, vivid image and some key selling points about the product. All right, so after that, after getting the attention, now the second part is raising the interest of the audience. Okay, so in the interest here, you will build on attention gained in the opening. And the most important part here is to show the benefits to the receiver. Okay, and basically you should show more than one benefit. Okay, only one is not enough, so you may list the benefits, and this helps to motivate the receiver to continue reading. Okay, so coming back to the example here. Okay, after the getting attention, now the interest part. Okay, so the interest part, they provide first the instructions, okay, to make sure that the audience know how it works. How does aha slides work? Capture your audience full attention in 3 easy steps. 1, 2, 3. Okay, with the picture, easy, and the instruction. Okay, and this is the parts that show the benefits of the aha slide. Charts that show live feedbacks from your audience. Benefit 1. Brainstorming with word cloud and open-ended question. Benefit 2. Add some fun or serious competition with quiz. Benefit 3. And host smarter Q&A sessions. Benefit 4. Okay, so a list of benefits with some illustration. You see? Okay, so that is the second part, getting some interest. Okay, so the main part of interest here is showing a list of benefits to the audience. After the interest part is the desire part. And many people find this part very difficult to write. And they always make it very similar and they find it confused. What is the difference between interest and desire? Okay, so let me show you what is the difference. So in the interest part, you show the benefits, right? But in the desire part, you will provide proofs, evidence of the benefits. Okay, so let's think a bit here. What are the proofs of benefits that you can present to the audience? For example, you're selling or you're marketing a product. Okay, you already list the benefits 1, 2, 3, 4 like I has lines. How can you provide evidence for these benefits in the desire part? Get point here. Feedback from customer. Yeah. Anything else? What are the proofs of benefits? Okay, good. Link research, sales, certification, good. Achievement, all right, really good points. Anything else? Yeah, KOL, yeah. The rate, what rate? Okay. Okay, so the proofs here, first thing can be statistics. Okay, statistics like 80% of the customers purchase the product again, or 80% of the customers give a very good recommendation for the product. Okay, so 1, statistics. Okay, 2, feedback from customer or customer testimonial. Make sense? Customer testimonials here, if we want to use this technique, make sure that the customer needs to be very specific. For example, you can also include picture of the customers like I have lines. You see here, okay? They have a picture of the customer together with quotes, okay? Quotes about their comments, positive comment for the product, and then full name and the workplace, the company or the school the customer is working in. So if you use customer feedback, make sure it is very, very specific, okay, with all the detailed information so that the audience believe that it is true and real. See? Okay, so again, we have statistics, okay, we have customer testimonial. We also can use KOL as Hung suggested. Okay, so many products use KOL like celebrities or sports stars that talks that say positive things about the products, then their fans and other people will follow the KOL. Okay, so third technique is to use KOL. And the fourth one, as Ngọc suggested, is to use certification, okay, or quality control certificates from the authorities, the government, or some reliable source. Okay, for example, a association of the field. Okay, so these are 4 main types of proofs that you can use in the desire part. Okay, can you summarize all these points, these 4 points in the comment chat box for me, please, to make sure that you don't forget it? So what types of proofs can you provide in the desire part to show that what you talk about the benefits is true and not just like lies? Okay, we have 4 main types of proofs. What are they? I'm waiting for your comments now. Okay, so again, the first one is statistics, right? What is the second one? customer testimonial, right? The third one is using KOL, right? Or key opinion leader. Okay, and the last one is certifications, okay, or quality control from authorities. All right, so these are the most popular way to provide proofs. So now, do you see the difference between the interest part and the desire part? See the difference? Yes or no? Do you think that you can write them differently? You understand the difference between the desire and interest part? Yes or no, guys? Okay, I will explain it once more. Okay, so again, in the interest part, you say that, okay, let's take an example. The example of you are selling a weight loss plan, okay, to help people lose weight. Okay, so the benefit of this weight loss plan is that it can help people to lose 2 kilograms within 1 month. Okay, the second benefit is that it doesn't affect the customer's health. Okay, and the third one is something, okay, it can help the skin even lighter. Okay, so those are the 3 benefits. See, so those are the things you will write in the interest part. Is it clear? Long? Okay, so
Yes.
right, thank you. So moving on to the desire part, now you're proving that the benefits are true by providing, for example, 85% of our customers got at least 2 kilograms lost in their weight after 1 month. Okay, then you can give some customer testimonial. For example, Miss Nguyễn Như Ngọc in Cầu Giấy, Hà Nội said that, and then state the quote. Okay, that is the second point. The third point is using some KOL. For example, Văn Mai Hương. Okay, Văn Mai Hương quote about the positive things she got from using your product. And the fourth part is showing some certification from the Ministry of Health for the safety of the product. Yeah, that's true here. Okay, so again, in the desire part, you provide proofs, evidence for the benefits. Is it clearer now, Long? And everyone else, is it clearer now? Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. So moving on to the action. Okay. So this is the main purpose of the message, right? Moving the audience to take some action. Okay. So we need the audience to take action as quickly as possible, or most ideally to take immediate action. Okay. And in order to encourage the receiver to take immediate action, the first step is to make the action easy for them. For example, they just need to tick something, okay, check the choice, return an enclosed card rather than writing an entire letter. Let me give you one example here. So for example, you are writing a letter to okay, you applied for a job, okay, and after 2 weeks you haven't got any reply from the company. You want to ask them what stage, is it in the whole application process, are they still considering, or have they got their candidates that they want to recruit and they won't recruit you, or what, right? So what is happening in the application process? So you write them an email, okay, and ask them to let you know the information as soon as possible. So in the email, you may provide again, not only your email, which is already there, right? But also you provide your telephone contact number. Okay, if you ask them to please let me know as soon as possible, or please let me know within this week, via email or via my phone number. Okay, so if you don't put your phone number here, they may find it quite time consuming to look for your phone number in their database, okay, in the list of candidates. But if you put it right there, it is much easier for them to contact you, to give you a call, right? So it is how you make the action easy for the receiver, or we call it make it receiver friendly. See? Is it clear here? Okay, so if we make it really easy for the customer, then they have a better chance of doing the action. Okay, it's simple like that. We also need to clearly state the deadline, okay, or encourage the receiver to act quickly. Okay, we already mentioned that point. So some techniques you can use there. For example, you can offer coupons or promotion and specify the date that the offer ends. This is a popular technique used in e-commerce now. Okay, they introduce you, market, do some marketing for the product for you, and then when you click on the link, they say that you have only 2 hours to buy it before the 50% discount ended. Okay, something like that. Okay, or you can suggest that supplies are limited. We only have 50 seats for the opera or something like that. Okay, or you can include the receiver's name in a drawing for a prize if he returns a questionnaire. Okay, so for example, you're sending some questionnaire surveying about the customer feedback. Okay, and then you encourage the customer to send the feedback to you by including their name in a drawing for a prize. Okay, they have more incentive to do it. Okay, and all these techniques are effective if the receiver feels no pressure and sees value in what is offered. Okay, if they see that what you're offering is interesting or valuable for them, then they will do it. Okay, so we already covered the persuasive message, the 3 steps, and the AIDA model. And now let's do a small practice. Okay, so in this practice, you are asked to write a message persuading your manager to approve the policy for employees to work from home during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, is it clear? All right, so I will post this video together with the slides and the material on Google Classroom, and please spend some time practicing writing this message. Okay, so again, as a wrap up, let's revise what we have discussed today. So in today's lecture, we talked about the midterm test. Oops. Where can I put it? Nope, cannot. Okay, so let's say we talk about the midterm test, and hopefully you all know now that you will have 2 letters and 45 minutes to write these 2 letters. You know how to write it and what should be included in the content of these positive and negative message. Okay, the slide is already on the Google Drive folder that I uploaded since the beginning of the semester. Okay, and after revising the midterm for the midterm exam, we talk about writing the persuasive message. Okay, we know how to plan for it, how to write it, and how to complete the persuasive message, and we also talked about the ADA model as well. Okay, so that is everything we discussed today. Before we finish, I want to ask you, is there any question you want to ask me regarding this lecture, regarding your midterm test next week? Any more questions, guys? Okay, so if you have any question, please let us know, okay, via email or via commenting on Google Classroom. So if no more questions, I would like to wish you good luck in the coming exam, and wish you to do your best and show what you have learned during the lectures. Okay, thank you so much for attending the lecture today. Hope that you enjoyed it. Okay, and see you next week. Thank you, everyone. And by the way, I'm using Logitech keyboard, which is device that can be attached with iPad, and using the iPencil as well. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, see you next week. Good luck for the exam. Okay, any question during preparing for the exam, please let us know. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.